What's going on, everybody? We're back. Sonny TV Arsenal. We're here, and we are here for the debate show. Today, we are going to be debating questions, answering questions, talking about news topics, seeing if they're actually real or fake, and what we think about our topics, and what we think, our personal opinions on what we think what's going on in the world of football right now. So you guys, let me know what you guys think. Send me your messages in the comment section. Let us know what you guys are thinking about. And now I'm just going to introduce my guests. Steve, Melvin, how you guys doing? Steve, you go first.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us out there for not watching EastEnders or Coronation Street. And we have a good show tonight, boys.
Okay, Melvin.
Evening all. Try and take our minds off what's really going on. Hope we can entertain you for a little bit. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we got 7 people already watching. You guys, let us know your questions, debate questions that you guys might have. Tell us what you guys think, and we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start off with when it comes to what's going on with the season. Right now we are in a break due to the coronavirus, and we are going to try to talk about what Arsenal can do, what they might do, and how this might affect us going forward. My first topic is, how do you think coronavirus will affect Arsenal in a negative or a positive way? You guys, Steve, I'll let you begin. What do you think?
Well, at the moment, obviously, it's all very up in the air whether it's going to affect us in a negative or positive way. If the season is voided, which it really looks like it is. It will affect Arsenal in a positive way because it will get us into the Champions League the following season. There's going to be a lot of clubs that who are not going to like that, as well as ManCity. Obviously, news today that it looks like they won't be having their ban overturned. So it will definitely be a positive. On our part, from if it was voided. I've got other views on whether it should be voided or not, but for our own selfish reasons, it would definitely be a positive for Arsenal if it's voided. 100%.
100%. Every Arsenal fan would love the season to be void, because we were already saying the season was a write-off, and to be honest. It would be very harsh on the other clubs. Well, you got to also think about the other clubs for a second, right? Because it's not just about Arsenal. There's other clubs that are going to be affected by this heavily, and that has to come into our evaluation of what's going on. What do you think about this, Melvin?
I don't think it can be positive for any club. It's got to be negative for everybody, not just for the league. I mean, if we get there, does it mean we're a better club? We've got better footballers because we've got there? Or does it mean we can buy better players? Probably that's the only upside I can see. We might attract better players by default. But It's much deeper than that. I think that it's, can we do any transfers that we want? Will this give an excuse to board members or the boss or the owner to say, well, what's going on? We better not spend that on that player. We're not sure when the next league is going to start. There's so much uncertainty, and I think it can be an excuse. So I don't see it really any. There's more downside than upside. So I'd put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I think the timing of the seasons might even change. Tip MCG. I see where you're coming from. It is very sad, and like what's going on is not right. Like, good evening, Tom. People in the comment section, send out your comments. Tell us your live reactions. What you guys think? We're gonna put them on. First thing, do you guys? We know it's gonna affect the transfer window, but do you think we should be worried about Raul Sinelli's approach to transfers, which is more approached by agents and not necessarily by scouts, not necessarily by stats or statistics? The stats DNA guy has recently left the club, and I feel like we're really going a route of, we need a right back, we're going to call up all our agents to see which right backs they have available, instead of seeing which player fits our team the best. And that kind of scares me.
Yeah,
I agree, kid. I agree with that. Yeah. They're doing it the wrong way around. Surely the window is not as big if you can't look at every player. And also, there might be some players that agents don't want to move for whatever reason that we can get to move. And I think that is a stupid way of doing things. Paul Myris has said that we haven't answered him. Are City definitely getting banned next season? That's not a certainty, though, is it?
Let me show you guys something that I found on the internet when it comes to that situation. There's a lot of Premier League clubs that are currently trying to make sure the ban is upheld. And Premier League teams in the Premier League are currently, half of the Premier League is currently hoping that Man City's ban is upheld and that they do not participate in the Champions League. Because if this season goes on any further, they're going to have to basically decide how are they going to submit their Champions League and Europa League spots. And if they have to, if Man City has not been able to go to the governing bodies in Switzerland and the sports governing bodies to get this overturned, then they will not be eligible to be even put into the categories of players. So what would mean if things stayed as it is right now and the season finished as it is right now, technically the 5th spot would be Manchester United and they would qualify for Champions League. But if they did decide to void the season and they chose last year's results, Arsenal was in the 5th place and we would get into that 5th spot. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, sorry, mate, go on.
I just think that who has the final decision? It's not the football clubs, is it? Or is it? Does it matter what the football clubs say?
It does, because they will be deciding as a committee who represents the Premier League in for the Champions League spot, since the season will not be completed in time.
Oh, so it is the Premiership clubs then?
Yes,
so
because
knowing our luck, it could be 50-50. No, the way things are going, it could be 50-50. Then what do we do? Toss a coin?
No, Melvin, what they've been throwing out recently is that they're going to use either last year's results or this year's results. But either way, Man City has still not overturned their ban. So Palmer's, as of right now, Man City is technically still banned. And until they get a chance to go to the courts and get it overturned, it will not be taken over. And as of right now, even Manchester City fans are saying their best hopes is if it gets reduced from 2 to 1 season, and they're already looking at next season without Champions League. Anyway, Steve, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it looks. I've read a few things before I've come on tonight, and it looks to me like Man City's ban is going to be, upheld. And the first question about Arsenal, and whether it would, is it going to benefit us or not? Selfishly, I'm afraid it is. And we if we're taken away, if we're looking at it from a football point of view, attracting the players and getting the better players will only benefit Arsenal Football Club. It's terrible what's going on at the moment, but you can't take away from a football point of view that if we end up going into the Champions League, that Arsenal as a club, whether it's by default or not, we would have had a result. We would have had a great result, because then we'd be able to get players. We would have had attractive players better. The transfer window would have been put back a little bit longer. All these things would benefit Arsenal. So I can't see. That's the way I'm looking at it at the minute.
Yeah. Honestly, I honestly think Man City is going to be upheld for 1 season, and they might fight it and might get reduced to 2nd season. But as of right now, they are banned, and they're staying banned, and we are getting that 5th spot if everything goes as well. So I am going to talk about the next topic, guys, and I'm going to Curious coming. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. When it comes to players, everyone has talked about Pepe this season, and they've said he's a flop. Right? I want to know where you guys stand, and I'm gonna give you guys each time to get your points across and tell me if you're on the side of Pepe has been a flop or not. Because if he has not been a flop, you're basically saying he's been okay. you're not necessarily saying he's amazing, right? He's just been okay. But if you're saying he's a flop, you have to say your premise why you think he's been a flop. So let me know. Steve, Melvin, what do you guys think? Steve, I'll let you go first.
Personally, without upsetting anybody too much, people who say, if anybody, whoever's saying Pepe has been a flop this season, in my eyes, really seriously, really doesn't know a lot about football. I mean, this guy has been scored goals, been making assists. It's his first season in the Premiership. If you look at his stats, and they hold up against a lot of players in the Premiership at this moment, but for some reason, because he's cost £70 million, everybody seems to think £70 million Pepe flop. But you've got to take away the price tag. You know, people seem to looking at the price tag all the time. I always think of, I would hate people who, Robert Pires, when he came to the club, he was absolute. He was miles much worse than what Pepe was in his first season. You know, I never missed a game that season. Well, I never missed hardly any games when Pires was at Arsenal. But
yeah,
that guy was not as good as Pepe is in his first season. But Robert Pires went on to become one of my favourite Arsenal ever players and an Arsenal legend. So no way in my eyes. I think he's performed this season. I think he's getting better game by game. And no way is he a flop in my eyes. No way.
Okay. Let's hear what people in the comment section think about Pepe. What do you think? Has he been a flop? Has he been good? And Melvin, now I'm gonna let you go.
I think it's been neither. He's not been very good, but he's definitely not a flop. I think Steve's right. Take what it cost, he cost us out the equation. I think at times he looks absolutely fantastic. He goes past the first player sometimes, and then his final ball is very, very poor. He gets into some fantastic positions, and his last ball is disappointing. So that can be improved upon. I think that we don't play him in the best possible way. I think it's best when he gets the ball that he's running onto the ball. He seems to always get the ball from a standing still position with his back to goal. I don't think that's the best way to play him. And I think also you've got to remember he hasn't played with the midfield yet. You can't say that Arsenal's got a decent midfield yet. If we had a decent midfield, if he was played in the right way, and he produces what he produces now, I think then I would call him a flop. But he's not a flop because what he's got to work with is very little. Again, it's his first season. I think this season seems to be over anyway. Let's see what we do in the summer if we get any midfield signings, and let's see what he does then. But I think he's got a lot of talent. It's just that if he can refine it a bit and push on.
It's a great point. It's a great point what Melvin's made. When you look at, he's got Bellerin, who's basically been working over on that right side, who's been poor in my eyes this season, very poor. He's got a midfield that he's working with, who we all know what our midfield is. It basically needs wiping clean and starting again. But the guy's still picking up goals. He's still getting his fair amount of assists. So, yeah, I think next season he'll come really good. But great point for Melvin with the midfield because he's working with, average players at the moment.
I think Pepe, yes, his price tag will always follow him. His price tag will always follow him around. We'll always say, Pepe, 82 million, this is that. We need to unlock him. He needs to play better. But I think this manager right here, Arteta, his job is going to be a big one because he's going to have to not only find a way to fit Arteta in. Arteta's not only going to have to find a way to fit him in, but he's also going to have to find a way to fit in our strikers, which are like Aubameyang and Lacazette. As of right now, we have too many people up front, so many options up front, but we don't have as many options down in the midfield and in the defensive areas. So once we get more balance throughout the squad and Arteta has a grasp of who his players are and what they've done, because don't forget, he's only been with the club for 2 months before this whole situation started, this whole coronavirus break started. So it's still very early in the manager's time, and I feel like Pepe, it was just starting to get into better form, because he was nominated for one of the players of the month, I think, because he did no, he wasn't actually. That was Aubameyang, but he was up there with the players of the month because he scored and assisted, I think, four goal contributions in his last season. Now the next argument, Thunder Roads hit it on the nail on the head. Sounds like Ozil argument. It does, and when it gets to the Ozil argument. The Ozil argument's a little bit different because Ozil is more closer to the end of his peak, where Pepe has not yet reached his peak. I think Pepe is going to get there. He's not there yet. It takes time for a player to get there. And Pepe is what, 24? Ozil's 30 now, man. Like, it's not even the same argument. But yeah. Now the age-old argument. A lot of people say Ozil is our greatest player right now on our team, which I disagree with. I think Aubameyang's our best player. But where do you guys stand with Ozil? Obviously, I think we would all want him to leave, but arguably, is he still our best player technically? What do you guys think?
Who first?
Melvin, I'm going to start with you, because I remember when we were at that game against West Ham, you said, Ozil, wow, this was the best game I've seen him play in a while.
It was, yeah. He had that for the first half. He was very, very good. But overall, it's a great disappointment. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. So the way people put him on this pedestal, his touches are fantastic. He'd be better off playing basketball for the Harlem Globetrotters, because doesn't matter if they have to win or lose. He can do all the tricks he likes, and everyone will clap him, and he'd be fantastic. That's what he should really sign for them, because as a footballer in the Premier League, where you have to win games, game after game, he's not the player for me.
Oh man, people in the comments today, you're harsh, man. You're harsh. Okay, Steve, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to be even harsher. I've stuck up for this guy. I don't know about you two, but I stuck up this guy for years and years and years. You know, trying to convince people what he was, because what I've seen at him at Real Madrid, and he had one good season at Arsenal where he made 19 assists. Over the last 2 years, this guy's done nothing. Wenger seems to want to play him everywhere, but literally the guy does nothing. He doesn't. What does he do? He doesn't score goals. He doesn't give assists. He doesn't work hard. I mean, I'm going to bring up the old thing that he's on £350,000 a week, and he should at least be giving it a go. But and he's got, and for me, he should be sold, but he's not going nowhere. He will be here next season. He's not going nowhere.
Sorry, Steve. Just to bring up that £350,000 a week, I don't blame Ozil for that. I blame the club for giving it to him.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I just think, like, maybe I'm a bit old school. I'm sure, like you're the same, Mel. You know, if you was on that amount of money, you would feel that, you know, inside that you would have to give. You know, I mean, I would feel absolutely terrible if I was on that amount of money, you know, because he goes out there and it's plain to see from literally everybody, not just Arsenal fans, but from other fans, from pundits, from ex-players, that this guy does nothing. But he must know this, he must see this, but he doesn't. He's just like so thick-skinned, it don't seem to bother him. But like I just said, he doesn't score goals, he doesn't make goals, he doesn't tackle, he doesn't do anything.
Okay, I'm going to say something.
So he's got to go. He's got to go, but he won't go. He won't go because he's on £350,000 a week, and none of us would go, would we? So I don't blame him for that.
Okay. What we can say is, let's remember where we were when we signed him to that £350 a week contract. Okay. Ozil and Sanchez contracts were both running out. You have Ozil here, you have Sanchez here. Sanchez has decided he wants to leave, so he's out of the picture. Now you have Ozil. If the fan base seen Ozil also leave and Sanchez at the exact same time, we would say what the hell's going on. We would kick up a storm. Everyone would say this club has no ambition. We would fight. We'd go nuts, right? At the time, the club were backed into a corner. They had no leverage. The player had all the leverage. We had no choice in what to do, but they felt like they had to give him the money that he was asking for at that time, which in hindsight, it was a mistake. But at that time, he was playing the best he was playing for us in a long time. I remember he won us the game at Newcastle, against Newcastle at home, with that volley that was Zidane-like. Let's be real. I'm not comparing him to Zidane, but what I'm saying is, in that moment, he was our best player, and we had no choice but to give him the money at that time. We could have given him less years, but we made a mistake as a club, and we can't do anything about it. All we know is, if the meltdown that would have happened, he's right, there would have been a crazy meltdown. Everyone would have gone nuts. There would have been pitchforks at the Emirates, because if Ozil left the same January window as Sanchez, we might be better. We might be in a better situation today with Ozil's money not on the books. But at that time, if you go back and put your mindset at that time, we would have been royally meltdown, crazy, and it would have just caused so much chaos.
Can I just interrupt, please?
Yes.
First of all, Tips McGee's made a very good point. The first actual decent point he's made all night. Anyway, I disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't think that the club are worried about the supporters. 1 minute we're all saying they don't care about us, and then all of a sudden we're worried about if we sell Ozil with Sanchez. Sanchez, we got 50 million for a few months before. They blew that. That's their fault, the board and the owner. Had we sold Ozil as well, we'd have got money for him, number one. Wouldn't be in the hole we're in now. And we would have had a lot more money. So the club saying that, we can't sell him because, it hurts the fans. I don't believe that. And then they could have had that other 50, 60 million, plus probably 30, 40 for Ozil. 100 million man in the bank. They wouldn't be crying now they can't afford certain footballers at the top level. They've got it wrong every single way. I don't believe they're worried about the fans. They're worried about the bottom line. I think that's a fallacy. I really do.
Whatever way you want to, whether you're for Ozil or whether you're against Ozil, I can see in the comments they're pretty much they are and they ain't. But
yeah,
for me, it's when you cut it down to the fine, and the gist of it, for me, they messed the contract up massively. When they sat down with Ozil and they sat down with that contract, they messed it up. They absolutely messed it up completely. They give him, it was too long a contract. It was too big a money. If they used their loafs, they would have sat in the room with Ozil, give him a lesser contract, lesser money, and he would have stayed. I mean, who would have wanted him? I mean, he wasn't playing fantastic football. He was in London. He was settled in London at the time. I mean, it was so plain to see. And they've offered him this incredible, massive contract deal. And Ozil's like rubbing his hands together and he's thinking, lovely. At least at least we could have got rid of him by now 2 years ago if we given him the right contract. I mean,
I know it's jobbing backwards, Steve, but let's go back a bit further. It came out this week from the person's mouth. And I know that we thought that he was a great player, Ozil, at Real Madrid. But do you know, at the same time we signed Ozil, we could have got Fabregas back for less money. One's a proven Premiership player. Whatever you think about the way he left is irrelevant. Talking about on the pitch. And in fact, Wenger didn't even give him an answer. He wanted to come to the Arsenal, and they never bothered to phone him back. Him and Gazidis ignored him. Those two have got a lot to answer for.
That's what I was going to. That is what I was going to say as well. That is it. It's down to them. And as far as Fabregas goes, I mean, I've not got one bit of hate in my body for Fabregas, and I don't see how any Arsenal fans do. This guy wanted to go home to his family and play for his boyhood club. He has given us incredible service at Arsenal, and he every time he went on that pitch. I mean, Ozil's go and have a look at a few of Fabregas's games.
Steve, we're gonna get back onto Fabregas in a moment. When it comes to Ozil, let's just finish this first. Quickly. Would you still want him in the club after this transfer window, or would you want him to leave? If you could just say yes or no, I want him gone, or you want him to stay. I personally, I would want him to leave, and I'd want us to find a young replacement that could move us forward. What do you guys think?
I'd want him to leave, but he's not gonna. So, but I want him to leave as well. Thank you. Yes, go.
Okay. Now let's get to what you were talking about. The Arsblog podcast. They did an amazing podcast with Cesc Fabregas. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but you should definitely go check it out on Arsblog podcast and Arsblog YouTube.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job there. They had a sit-down interview.
Yes,
obviously not face-to-face, but he's over in Monaco, and Arsclass guy was up in Ireland, I think, or Scotland. I forget where it is. Yeah. But they did the podcast, and they were talking about Arsenal. And now Cesc Fabregas dropped some big bombs in that podcast, right? So we're gonna break it down into parts. The first thing he mentioned was when he was at the club and he seen what was going on, he felt like there was a point where he wanted to go to Barcelona. But before he said I wanted to leave, after he won the Euros and he won everything, he won all those tournaments, the next goal that he had was to win the league with Arsenal. And he said to himself, I want to win the league with Arsenal. This is my baby. I want to win the league with Arsenal. And he took it upon himself as a player, and it hurt him every time we lose, right? But there was a point where it got to looking around in the team, and he'd see the team bus. He'd look at this player. He'd look at that player. He would see Nasri and Van Persie, and he knew that he couldn't depend on Van Persie to be there every single game because he'd get injured all the time. But he would look at them and he'd say, these guys are in the trenches with me. And he'd look at the other players and he'd see them celebrating and getting ready to go out after a loss. And he's like, I can't be around people like that. Because for him, he was punishing himself after a loss. And there's people celebrating that they're getting paid. So when people say Cesc Fabregas didn't care, he genuinely cared about the club.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And my point is, do you think he wanted to leave because of? Do you think he wanted to leave only because of his teammates, or do you think he wanted to leave because there was things above Arsene Wenger that he said out of Arsene Wenger's control that were making him not want to stay there any longer?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think he saw on the pitch and what have you, in the dressing room, you saw who he had to work with, and then he had the chance to work with perhaps at that time the best team in the world. And also he came from there. You can't blame him. Like a lot of Arsenal players that have left us, I can't blame any of them. I don't think some of it was money, but most of it is actually every club they went to is probably a better club than us. So I can't ever go any players leaving for better themselves, either financially, but more so to have a better chance of winning things. Decent leagues, not just the FA Cup.
Yeah. Honestly, Steve, what did you think about the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm sort of more or less closely going to echo what Melvin said. I mean, basically, he just wanted to go home. He wanted to go home with his family. I mean, it was before he left. That was one of the reasons, obviously. Secondly, obviously, he was probably playing. He was going to go and play for the best team in the world, arguably at that time. And he left with my blessing. I mean, the guy was at Arsenal since he was 15 years old, was it? 15?
Yeah, 15.
16, right?
Yeah.
I thought he joined us at 15, but you might be right.
Yeah.
I thought he played the Charity Shield at 15.
And this guy, if we had a good game or bad game one week, one thing he never did, he absolutely run his nuts off for us every single week. Every single week. I mean, he would never get into Arsenal's greatest 11. But I tell you what, the more I think about it, he's close. I tell you, he's very close. He ain't far off it.
I'll tell you what, Steve, you're right. He's very, very close.
Yeah.
I think the only reason he probably doesn't is because I don't think he was ever present or played a lot of games in when we ever won the league. I think he came into us the first year he played for us for the whole season. It was when we won the Invincibles, and he wasn't a big part of that. He was a part of that. He wasn't, he wasn't in the first 11. Going on from that, the seasons when we didn't do very well, he was in it the whole time, and he obviously became our captain, and rightly so. So I think that's the reason why he wasn't associated with us winning things. Had he been associated with us in a squad that was winning things, he'd have put higher up the ladder. But he was a very good footballer. Very.
But yeah, great.
He won the majority of his trophies at Chelsea in the Premier League. He won 2 league titles at Chelsea. He won 1 league title at Arsenal, but he wasn't really playing much that league title.
Exactly.
He was in and around the team, and he got a trophy because he played enough games to be eligible. But he, I don't know. That doesn't really count as his part of his legacy. He was just a part of it. It's like Nathan Ake claiming the Chelsea trophies. He doesn't really deserve to claim those because he didn't really have a big part in it. What do you guys think about his favorite goal? He said that Tottenham game where they won 4-0. Was it 4-0 or what was the score? Where he scored the second goal after Van Persie scored the first one in quick.
What, the one a minute after we scored, he ran through.
Yeah.
That was it. I'd say no. I think I'd say what my favourite goal of his was. Just thinking in a split second, away to AC Milan.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You know that goal? No English team had beaten AC Milan at their stadium, and we beat them 2-0. And his first goal was an absolute diamond. It was fantastic. Amazing. So that to me is perhaps a more important goal, far more important goal, because it was the first goal than the second goal he got against Spurs. And he scored a cracker against Spurs at White Hart Lane as well. I think we beat them 3-1. Adebayor scored one. He hit it on the volley from about 32 yards. Absolutely fantastic. No, he could score a goal as well. He was terrific.
Yeah.
The most my ones is sort of when I think of a goal from Cesc Fabregas, obviously the ones you've mentioned there are the main ones. But when I think of Cesc Fabregas and I think of him scoring a goal, it comes for me. It was the most memorable Cesc Fabregas goal, and the first one that comes to mind of when he broke his leg and he took the penalty against Barcelona, and and then he scored the goal, and he was just about to go to Barcelona after that. And he scored the penalty, and he literally broke his leg, and he limped to the corner flag, and then sort of collapsed, in like more or less down on the corner flag, and then the trainer ran on. And then the next day, it was said that he broke his leg, but he still wanted to take the penalty and score for Arsenal. So our Arsenal fans can have any hate for Cesc Fabregas is absolutely beyond me.
Yeah, honestly, there's always going to be trolls. Okay, so guys, I got a question for you guys. Okay, when it comes to the Premier League season, and everyone talking about the Premier League season being void, this, that, all the ramifications that comes with the Premier League season being void. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about the option of it being void? Do you think it should be, because right now what they're saying is the option of being void is like the absolute last option. They do not want to take that option. As much as they can, they're going to try to keep the season ongoing, and they're going to try their best to keep that off the table. So what do you guys think?
I'll tell you what I think should happen. It won't happen, but if I could do a magic wand, for fairness, I think every club in the first top 4 division should play their games where it's anything only if it's to do with winning the league, promotion and relegation, and Europe. All the other teams, when they mid-table teams, shouldn't play each other, and every game obviously will have to be played perhaps behind closed doors. Then with that way, you'll get an end to the season. You'll get a definitive end. This way, to leave it open-ended, no one wins.
Yeah. I mean, for me, there's nothing more. Well, probably that. No, all of us want is for the games to be played and football to start again and the season to be finished. But it really don't look like that's that's going to happen. So what I think should happen is that it should be voided. I think Liverpool should be given a trophy. It should never be taken away from them what they've done. I can't stand Liverpool, and I get plenty of stick in my comments on Twitter from Liverpool fans. But You know, I'm not gonna take away from their incredible football they've done this year, because they've been outstanding. So I do think they should be still given a trophy. Our people want to, you know, take it, whether they want to take the mickey out of them, say they haven't played the last few games. That's, you know, that's going to be an argument or conversation that's going to happen between fans. The other thing is, if it is voided, there's going to be the most important. There's going to be clubs that could go out of business. So it's so important that the Premier League, the FA get together and make sure that they've got this money pot for these clubs who are not going to play their last 9 games, and that they're giving them money so they can survive. If that doesn't happen, then I don't know where football's going to be. They were saying on Sky Sports News today that at the moment there could be 15 clubs that would go out of business if they wasn't played. Wow. So
that's crazy, man. Steve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these articles. You guys just bounce in. Let us know what you guys think, okay, in the comment section. So first things first, they're looking at the pros and cons of Man City. If the season gets null void, Man City would obviously not have enough time to dispute the Champions League. That's one of the things people are talking about. Another major thing people are talking about is Liverpool, and if the season is voided, that Liverpool will not win the league this season. So what do you guys think about, is that fair? Like, people have waited 30 years for the league title. Liverpool are just about to win it, and just like that, it's getting snatched from their hands. Like, to me, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I know people who are, and I kind of feel sorry for them. I understand their struggles, and they've been through this. We've only waited how long? 15 years? These guys have waited over 30 years. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, don't you kind of feel bad for them?
The question can't be, is it fair or not? Of course it's not fair. Okay. Actually would have won the league by the biggest margin in every respect than any other club ever. Probably in any other league, even in the Scottish League, probably. Well, I'm not sure about that, but probably. So to say, is it fair or isn't it fair? Of course it's not fair if they don't happen to win the league at the end of the year. I'm not saying they should be given the league because they haven't won it, but them not winning it is very, very unfair. I don't care who you support. It would be to, you know, you can't say, I don't like Liverpool, so it's fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. So that's where I stand.
Steve?
Yeah, I agree. Again, I agree with you. Of course, it's not fair. I would, you know, I look at it from, you know, what if it was us? If it was Arsenal in Liverpool's position, you know, what would I want? It's not fair, but the more I'm thinking about it now, you know, I suppose they could still play the last 9 games and not pick up any points, or get a couple of draws or 3 draws and lose the rest. So in when you look at it that way, they can't be given a trophy or be told that they won the league in 2019-20. But it's not fair. I'm not the greatest Liverpool fans. I love their football. I think they deserve to have the trophy this year. I think it's going to be very sad that they're not going to be given the trophy this year, and it's not, like Melvin said, it's not fair. But what else can you do? There's 9 games to play. They haven't played them, so anything could have happened. You know?
Yeah. I don't think anything could have happened, Steve. They would have won the league. Yeah. I do know. They would have won the league, and Man City would have had to win every game.
Well,
well, not only that. So, you know, there is a possibility, but it is like one grain of sand as far as I'm concerned.
From like a football point of view, I would say I'd be in the Premier League sitting in their boardroom at the moment and say, well, let's give them the title. They deserve it. You know,
no, they can't do that.
Oh no, they can't. No, they can't do that. Exactly.
They should be given the opportunity to play a few more games behind closed doors like a couple of other clubs, and I think that's the fairest way. That's why I said what I said.
If we can get to do that, that'd be fantastic. If we can get to that.
Okay,
you know,
guys, I'm gonna go. The longer it goes on,
you know, the longer it goes on, you know, the more people are going to
Yeah,
We don't know where it's going to go.
I'm gonna go back onto here. So obviously they're going to have to decide how to do the Champions League spots, and some of the clubs are just talking about the Champions League spots. Rio Ferdinand has actually come out and said he thinks the season should just be voided, and they should just use the Champions League spots from the season before, and allow, when it comes to relegation and everything else, they should just act like the season never happened and redo everything next season. Where you have Chelsea's assistant manager Jody Morrison also calls back to call for a voided season, and then there's people complaining about what would happen for relegation, promotion. Then you have obviously Jurgen Klopp released a statement just saying we're worried about people's health, not really worried about the football right now. So when it comes to those kind of things, everyone is saying the right things. Everyone is just speaking and making this, saying perfect sense. Like no one's going out of their way to say, oh, the season has to be done. The season has to be done. The thing that I find is behind closed doors, they're making a void season the final option. They're trying their best to do it. And do you think they genuinely care about the fans? Because I think the fans deserve a discount. If this crisis continues, a lot of people are going to be losing money. And it's not only them. There's going to be fans are not going to have enough money to spend on tickets. So if they do this, they might lose fans. What do you guys think?
I don't know. The fans don't come into it. Never have done. Never will. The fans used to come in for it when people through the turnstiles used to pay the wages of all the players. That doesn't happen anymore. So I don't think they're worried about that. They're worried about TV rights and money. That's all they're worried about. But just a point, I've just thought of something. This is interesting, even from me. If they're going to make it void, right? And you've had a bet on Man City winning the league, and you've obviously, Leicester or Man City, say Man City, and you're obviously going to get beat. Do you get your money back?
No, they're going to.
You say no. They're not paying out Liverpool for winning the league. So either all bets are void or all bets are on. You can't split the bet. Say only the bookmakers can't have it both ways. If you've had an accumulator, everything going on, everything you've had 7 bets out of 8, and your 8th bet was Man City, and the odds were 1,000 to 1. You put 100 quid on it. Do you get your money back? I think it's very dangerous to just make a league void. Very dangerous.
Yeah. What about they have to give the fans their money back? Well, for the tickets.
From what?
For the tickets.
Oh, that's different. That's different. I think
like
when the
season ticket holders, yeah.
Well, it's funny what you say that, because someone I know, a friend of his, has been asked by Arsenal already for the club membership, and I reckon I should have asked the question: is it for the full amount? Because really, there should be a refund in that for this season.
100%. Because you've already missed.
He never said to me it was a refund. I must ask him that question when I next speak to him.
What's going to happen with all those tickets? Because you know what I mean. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that they've got to refund the fans. Surely, you know. I mean, they're going to look. I mean, this is an unprecedented thing that just happened. And soon as the new season starts, there's going to be uproar from people who, and I think the pressure from fans all over the country in every one of the divisions is going to be too much, and eventually, and they're going to have to refund them in some way, whether it's a certain percentage.
Steve, I'm an optimist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 1 second,
I'm an
guys.
optimist, right?
1 second. Can I get everyone in the comments to please go ahead and share this video? Try to get more people to see the video. Get us more likes, comments, please. Just we need as much support as we can get. It's kind of difficult right now. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Melvin, you can go back.
Right. I'm saying I'm an optimist, but taking the worst case scenario, we don't know if the season can start in August. Now then, if it doesn't start in August, again, when does it start? September, October, whenever. Does the league tour around and go, you know what, we're not going to get our amount of games in for the league now. So therefore, it's even going to be shortened again. We're going to have, instead of playing every team twice, you're playing all of them once, and you're going to pay half the teams just twice, right? So all of a sudden, the receipts are going to go down so much, it's going to throw everything up in the air. So I think when they decide to put out, I mean, normally for season tickets, you've got to have your money in by the 1st of June. By the 1st of June, we won't know how long the next season's going to be or how the format's going to be. But are they going to ask us for the lot or not? It'd be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be the easiest way. That would be the easiest way to do it, wouldn't it? I mean, the easiest way to do it is, you know, when you have to renew your new season tickets, you just get a discount off of it. It's simple, isn't it? It's done like that. It's easy. That would be the easiest way to do it.
Looks like Melvin won a debate.
Then we won't buy a centre half, Steve.
Melvin, someone agrees with you. It looks like you were winning the debates.
First thing I won for ages.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Hector Bellerin, our right back. People are even saying he's a very influential footballer for all the stuff that he does when it comes to off the field. There has been a new trend that has started. People are shaving their heads through these times, and Bellerin has been highly criticized for his haircuts before, but I don't think a lot of people are going to criticize him now. And this is Paul Pogba basically started this. Him, Anthony Martial, Eden Hazard are doing this. It's called what do you call it? Lockdown buzz cuts. So everyone who's on lockdown are getting buzz cuts in solidarity. What do you guys think of that hairstyle?
Well, he looks like he could go up to the forward. He goes, "You looking at me?" Isn't he? He looks like, "You looking at me?" I like the haircut. I think it looks much better than that thing that he's got on in the on the right there, on my right anyway. But as far as Hector Bellerin goes, I mean, are we talking about what should happen with him yet?
Oh man. Okay, go ahead. Let Melvin talk about his hair first, and then we'll get on him.
His hair, he looks like his hair. It looks like he's just come out the nick. But anyway,
Yeah.
He's doing it. What I like these footballers, they do like to follow each other. Whether it's tattoos, we'll all have a tattoo. Let's put the ball an inch outside the corner flag, which is illegal. Well, let's all do that. You know, all these different things. I mean, come on, think for yourself. Yeah. No, as Bellerin as a footballer goes, he's been, in my eyes, very disappointing. He's lost that bit of speed, and he's lost that bit of confidence. The last 4 or 5 games I watched him, his first default action is to give the ball back side. Whereas go back 3 or 4 years, the first thing was to get to the other end of the pitch as quick as he possibly can. I know he might have lost a bit of speed, but it doesn't mean he can't still get past players. He doesn't want to do it. So I think he deserves perhaps one more chance. But I've been very disappointed with him the last couple of years, and some of it's not his own fault. Obviously, he's had a couple of very bad injuries, and you've got to take your hat off that. But as a footballer, forget about anything else. That sentiment, I don't think at the moment is good enough for the Arsenal.
Yeah. That was going to be my first thing to say going into this, was that let's get it right. You know, Hector, if you're watching, I know you always do. If you,
I think he's a great player. No, I think he's all right. He's a great player. You always watch.
Me and him are HB. I call him HB. You know, we're on nickname terms. But no, seriously, as far as his charity work, fantastic, brilliant. Big up to you, mate. Your work you do is fantastic. But as far as on a football pitch, I mean, Melvin sort of really said it all already. When he first came to Arsenal, we all thought that this guy was going to be the next Philip Lahm. I mean, he was like unbelievable. I mean, he had everything. But then all of a sudden, he, again, like Melvin says, he's lost, his pace has gone, which hasn't helped Pepe at all, because Bellerin don't get forward enough to help him. Also, I don't think Maitland-Niles should have been dropped when Bellerin came back from injury. Because I don't think Maitland-Niles was doing a foot wrong. And Bellerin just don't do literally what he used to do. I mean, Bellerin used to pick the ball up, he used to get forward, get to the corner flag, get crosses in or cut inside. He doesn't do that no more. I know we've got Pepe, but he still used to do it when we had a right-sided player. So, you know, I'm not. That's no excuse. And I mean, you've only got to look at Saka on the left. He does everything on the left that Bellerin don't do on the right. Everything. He gets past players. He gets to the line. He gets crosses in. He cuts inside. He scores goals. Bellerin don't do that anymore. He's just like your typical right back who just stays behind the centre line, halfway line, because Arteta knows that his pace has gone.
Okay, so he's what do you guys think about what Greenwood is saying here? Greenwood is basically saying our fans more demanding than before and expecting an immediate impact from young players sooner. And are we less patient now in modern times than we were expecting immediate results? I mean, expecting immediate results, yeah.
Well, I don't think we do expect more from our youngsters. I think in the last 6 months, our youngsters have been our best players through and through. I really mean that. It's some fantastic performances, and from Saka, from Martinelli, and people like that. And hopefully next year, when we get the midfielder who's playing for Huddersfield, whose name escapes me, Smith Rowe.
Emil Smith Rowe. Yeah.
I got a little bit of a hope for him, and Nelson quite hasn't pushed on, but again, I've got a little bit of hope for him as well. I don't think we expect too much of the youngsters, but I think we're starting to begin to, on the basis that they are our better players. And I think, are we less patient now in modern times when we expect immediate results? Well, Sam, I don't think we are really, because we've been waiting a long time. We can't say we're not patient enough. I mean, we've waited 15 years to get a decent team, really, and we've been let down for that long. So we're not really, you can't call us impatient. I think that we give everyone a chance. I think that even when we get on the back of players, and we do, we're bad for that, like a lot of other clubs. But I think that we give everyone a chance, though. We don't get on their back the first half a dozen games. So I think
no, but we have a thing that goes on with our fan base where when we are playing well, we switch the pendulums too far one way and the other way. So when we're playing well, we're undefeated in 11. We're gonna beat anybody, bring anybody on. We can beat them. We lose 2 games in a row, we're the worst team in the world. We should get relegated.
Right. Can I come in on that before Steve? Sorry, Steve.
That's Arsenal. That's been Arsenal for years. Yeah. Go on, Mel.
But you've got to remember. It's a bit like the Wenger situation we had a couple of years back. But people say 1 minute we love Wenger, 1 minute we hate Wenger. That's wrong. 1 minute, the people that dislike Wenger and we have a bad few games, they get their voices are heard. And then Arsenal play well for a few games. The people that love Wenger, their voices, they're not necessarily the same people. We're all Arsenal supporters, and that's why we're not flip-floppers like people call us. It's just that we have got a divided fan base.
I mean, it's my biggest bugbear about certain Arsenal fans. Someone could go, let's say for instance, Aubameyang, he could go 11 goals, score a goal, and then on the 12th game, he might have a dodgy game, and then it'll be all over the internet, he's absolutely crap, and we should sell him, and that's the same with nearly any player. I mean, even sort of, Xhaka and Mustafi, they're not good enough for Arsenal, but they have really improved, this season. And it annoys me when, Mustafi, who had 7 great games on a spin, and as soon as he had a dodgy one, the older the internet and the Arsenal fans are saying he's crap, selling, he's rubbish. It really winds me up, that type of attitude, from fans towards their players really does.
I think that's because, Steve, we are, what's going on? What's he laughing at?
Tip McGee, he basically said Steve, is because they're all crap, pal. And then Sam has the exact opposite thing where he's saying we criticize players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Guendouzi, Nelson, Willock too quickly when they have when they all good games and show potential. And I feel like I always say this, guys. Don't I always say this? I say when you have a young player, they're going to give you an 8, they're going to give you a 9, and they're going to give you 2 4s. And those 2 4s, you're going to call them shit. And those 2 8s and 9s, you're going to say they're future superstars. The players who consistently give you 7 out of 10s and then one day give you 9s, those are the players that people don't criticize.
We should be our youngsters. We should be bigging them up all the time. You know, Nelson's, your Smith Rowes when he comes back, your Martinelli's, your Guendouzi's, your Saka's. All these players, we should be giving them all the support all the time. You know, they've had to come into a side which is basically massively average. They're all 18, 19, 20 years old. We should be getting behind these every single week. And if they have a couple of bad games, you know, let's not get on their backs. Let's get behind them.
We should.
I agree with what you say, Steve. 100%.
Okay.
I agree with that. But on the other side of the coin, there are too many players. There is a but. There's too many players that are not youngsters that have poor games for weeks on end, and they keep getting picked. If you had a Man City player playing bad for 30 seconds, he wouldn't play for another week or two. The same as Liverpool, the same as Chelsea, and perhaps even Tottenham, and Man United, perhaps to a degree. We seem to be, and perhaps I'm being overcritical here, being an Arsenal fan, but we seem to have players, I'm not going to name and shame them because I think we all know who they are, that play season after season, week and month after month, and they underperform. And yet they still wear that red shirt, and that's what I'm upset about. Not about the youngsters. I think the youngsters have outperformed.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this, guys? We're reaching the end of it. I'm going to finish this off by asking you guys and everyone in the comments a quick question, right? And I've been seeing this a lot lately. People have been talking about different top 5s, and I seen an interesting one the other day when it comes to goalkeeper who you'd want in a penalty shootout, and player who, if you needed to win this penalty shootout, you'd put him in there. Well, it's a quick question, okay? So this is what I need: a goalkeeper who, if you needed him to stop a penalty, who you'd put in goal, and a player, if you needed him to score this penalty, who you'd put. You'd give him the ball to score that penalty, and this can be Arsenal or non-Arsenal. Depends on
present day.
Up to you. You could pick David Seaman in goal, or you could pick.
That's what I was going to pick. Actually,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I know he's a really good goalkeeper when it comes to stopping penalties. So yeah, I'll let you go first, Melvin, because I ruined your.
So it's the goalkeeper. I have Seaman.
Okay.
Right. And who's the other two?
No, the next one is who you take the penalty. So you can have 5, or you can just say I want this one guy taking the penalty.
I suppose I'm just looking through Arsenal. I read rose tinted glasses. Only for Arsenal. I'm only going to do it for Arsenal at the moment. I probably have Van Persie.
Van Persie was really good at taking penalties. Yes, he was.
And who else? And what's the third question? Or isn't one?
Okay. No, you take 5 guys, penalty shooters. It's a penalty shooter.
5 penalty shooters, right? Sanchez, Van Persie, Fabregas, Laurent, Ralph Laurent.
Okay.
And the last one would be, I'll tell you who's very good, Ashley Cole.
Okay. Ashley Cole. Yeah. No Henry?
No, Henry, no.
Okay. What about you, Steve?
Did he take a lot? Henry?
Not after what him and Perez did that time with that penalty.
Yeah, it was a one-off. That was a one-off. Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go more like crazy with it, right? Globally, when you look at and even in the Premier League, there's been some guys who get underestimated when it comes to penalties, right? You got guys like James Milner is really good at penalties, and he takes a lot of them, so he would get in my top 5.
Who's your goalkeeper?
Steven Gerrard and Lampard are really good at taking penalties. They go in. Yeah. Oh, Tim Krul all day, Norwich.
Ah, kid.
I took your guy. I'm sorry, Tim Krul, Norwich. He's a really good. Leighton Baines. Don't forget Leighton Baines.
Did he miss one recently?
Yeah, he missed one recently against. Was it Manchester United? Yeah, probably, but he's really good at taking penalties. And then how many penalty shooters did I already pick? So
I think 4 you might have picked.
So I picked 4, and then I honestly see.
Mark Redmond's come out with a good one.
Seaman was going to be
Mark Redmond's come out with a quality one. Mark Redmond.
But my last guy, this guy, he was just a bully. He would just kick it down the middle. Sometimes kick it anywhere. what's his name? Shearer. So my 5 goal kickers
Yeah.
are, who did I pick again? I picked Shearer. I picked Leighton Baines. I picked. Did I guess? Who did I ask?
Lampard and
Lampard,
Gerrard, was it?
Gerrard, and who's my first guy that I selected? Oh my God, I'm praying. Oh, James Milner.
Yeah, Milner. But I tell you what, you're right. Henri did take a good penalty as well, missed him out. But the team I've got, I'm happy with.
Yeah, and Henri did
I've
some cheeky free kicks before the goalkeepers were ready.
Yeah, Aston Villa was a classic, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Rolled it in, yeah.
Yo, you guys should check out the thread that I did on Twitter about the season, the Invincible season. It was really good. Okay, Steve, you were saying?
Yeah, I forgot them all now. You've blown my mind taking my goalkeeper. It's
Go on, you can have the same goalkeeper. Go on.
I'm sorry. You can have.
I've just thought of another one. Good penalty.
Peter Cech.
Matt
No,
Letizia.
I'm going to try and stay away from Arsenal if I can. A bit of fun, stay away from Arsenal. A bit of fun.
This is a good shot.
I'd have Caballero as my goalkeeper.
Okay.
How used to miss Matt Letizia is beyond me, boys.
I know. Matt got it right. Mark got it right, didn't he?
I was praying. I was going, please don't say Matt Letizia. Let me get this one in. Let me get this. Mark Noble. West Ham.
Okay.
Jorginho at Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, they're coming, aren't they? Paul Scholes. He very nearly missed the penalty for.
He missed one against us in the cup final.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
That's the one that we won the cup final because he missed the penalty.
Yeah. No, take no notice of that. Take no notice of that.
Okay.
And Kevin De Bruyne.
Carlos. Wow.
Kevin De Bruyne. He doesn't take penalties.
Yeah, I've seen him take penalties. David Silva then.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, guys, let us know what you guys think in the comment section for your guys who would be your penalty takers and your goalkeeper, and then we'll talk about it the next video to see whose teams we really like and what we think about it. Anyways, guys, we're gonna sign out from here. You guys have any closing remarks to say before we go?
Yeah, just don't forget. I think I'm not involved. I don't think there's one on Sunday, isn't there?
Yeah, there's going to be a video on Sunday.
What's that going to be about?
Big transfer video, big transfer show on Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
Transfer video and engage with the people in the comment sections and just keep it going. Keep the good times rolling while we're in quarantine. Keep people busy.
Yeah, we'll try and make a bit of fun.
Look at Sam's selection. That's not bad, is it? Sam Greenwood's selection, not bad.
It's really good. We don't know who his goalkeeper is.
It's easy when you got some Sam, though, isn't it?
I put you guys on the spot. You didn't even know I was going to do this.
No, mate. We didn't do bad.
I don't like surprises.
Okay. Anyways, it's been a laugh. Enjoy, you guys. People in the comments, you've been amazing.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the comments.
All 120 of you guys, enjoy. Anyways, peace out, enjoy, and we'll catch you guys on Sunday. Have a good one.
Sunday. All the best.
See you soon.
Bye.